Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be spending some time on the Teseq NSG 3060A test system. We'll begin the video by going over a little bit about the unit, then we'll move to the connections on the front and the back, and then last we'll go ahead and we'll get the system started up and walk through how to run a test. The Teseq NSG 3060A replaced the older Teseq NSG 3060 test platform and offers many of the same capabilities. Let's go ahead and let's start with taking a look at the different models of the NSG 3060A test system. All right, here's page 2 from the data sheet that shows the different models of the Teseq NSG 3060A test system. Today, we're looking at the Teseq NSG 3060A-IEC test system, which is configured for EFT, surge, and PQT. As you can see right there in the model section, there are 3 different versions depending on what capabilities are needed for testing, with the Teseq NSG 3060A-Full providing all the capabilities for EFT, surge, PQT, ringwave, and then the telecom surge as well. Keep in mind, when we're looking at the Teseq NSG 3060A test system, it cannot typically be used with coupling-decoupling networks designed for the older Teseq NSG 3060 test system. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the front of the unit. Here's the front of the Teseq NSG 3060A test system. Let's go ahead and let's start from the left and let's work our way right. In the upper left-hand corner, we have the active LED, and then to the right of that, we have the display. As we work our way right, we have a series of buttons. Starting on top, we have Test On, and then below that, the rotary wheel. Below the rotary wheel, we have the back, Start or Pause, and then finally at the bottom, we have Stop. As we work our way right, we have our trigger output, and then next to that, we have the HV pulse burst output. The burst output is typically used to connect to a capacitive coupling clamp or external CDN. Finally, all the way on the right, we have the EUT test supply through the built-in CDN. Next to that, we have our ground reference connections. Now let's go ahead, let's get the unit turned around and take a look at the back of the system. Here's the back of the Teseq NSG 3060A test system. Let's go ahead, let's start from the left and let's work our way right. In the lower left-hand corner, we have our reference earth connection. And then just to the right of that, we have our EUT supply input going towards the coupling-decoupling network built into our system. As we work our way right, we have our HV and COM ports, which are commonly used for connections to external coupling-decoupling networks. This direct output connection should not be connected to equipment under test that is powered on, or it will cause damage to the system. As we work our way right, we have the main switch and the mains power input. Next to that, we have our DC output and the fail input EUT1. To the right of that, we have our system link input and output connections. And then finally, all the way on the right, we have our USB and Ethernet connections. Let's go ahead now and let's get the system turned around and power it on. Taking a look at our Teseq NSG 3060A system now, we have our EUT connected to the front. We're using the line to NEMA adapter provided with the equipment to connect to the EUT test supply. This provides a standard female socket for us here in the US, however it does have some limitations on voltage and current as well as the test level. We have our input power for the EUT plugged into the back of the system. This is done with a cable that splits apart each line with the standard male connector on the other end. You can also connect the EUT supply input to a power supply if needed. Let's go ahead now and let's spend some time on the display modifying testing criteria. Alright, here's the starting display for the Teseq NSG 3060A. You can see we have burst, voltage dips, power magnetic field, surge, voltage variations, and pulse magnetic field. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at surge. All right, here's the quick start surge menu. You can see on the left we have voltage, repetition, phase angle, and number of cycles. As we work our way right towards the center, we have polarity and synchronization. And then all the way on the right, we have a quick waveform demonstration. Now, if we take a look, center kind of towards the middle there, we also have options for coupling. Let's go ahead now and let's change our voltage from 2000 to 3000. To do that, go ahead and click it. And then let's go ahead and enter 3000 and hit OK. Now let's go ahead and let's change our phase angle to 90 degrees. There we are. And then let's change the number of cycles to 3. Excellent. Now let's go ahead and let's click on coupling. Perfect. And you can see right here, this is our coupling menu here for combination wave surge. The NSG 3060A has the ability for both IEC and ANSI coupling. We're going to go ahead and we're going to leave it on IEC today. So let's go ahead and hit OK. That should just about wrap up the surge menu. Let's go ahead, let's go back to the main menu and let's take a look at burst. All right, now let's go ahead and let's click burst. This is going to be our quick start menu for EFT or burst testing. And you can see it's very similar to that of our combination wave surge menu. There we have the voltage, repetition frequency, burst duration, burst period or time, and then we have our test duration. Working our way towards the middle of the menu, we have our polarity, our synchronization, and then our coupling. And then on the right, we have a brief visual description of our criteria. So let's go ahead now. Let's turn the line synchronization from off to on. And let's change the voltage from 3000 to 4000. And then we're going to go ahead and let's hit OK. All right, that should complete changing some of the different testing criteria from the front panel display. All right, that should complete the video today on the Teseq NSG 3060A. We began the video by walking through a little bit about the test system, then we moved to some of the connections on the front and the back, and then finally we spent some time changing testing criteria using the front panel display. We hope this video has been useful, and please keep us in mind if you ever need to rent the Teseq NSG 3060A.